Okay, today's video is going to be about how to remove the breather covers off the side of the 1993 Kawasaki Vulcan 88. Okay, so this is your breather in here, your air filters. Okay, now there's two ways you can take these off. One is simplified, one is more difficult, depending on which way you go. Now, either way, with this system, behind here are 3 bolts. Okay, there's one here, one here at the top, another one straight down from it on the bottom, and then one over on this end in here. There are 10 millimeters. Now this one here is difficult to get because of the engine, and this one down here is difficult to get because when the radiator guard is on there, it gets in the way. You can't get a wrench down in there. So now what you have to do is there's a bolt here at the very top. See that there? Okay, this is attached to a bracket, and if you look under here, there's another bolt right here. Okay, which is also attached to the frame. This one is 8 millimeter. The one up top here is a 10 millimeter. Okay, so now if you don't want to take this whole thing off, what you want to do is you want to take this bolt out, take the one on the bottom out, and then this wiggles around, and you can get a wrench in there to get your 10 millimeter out here, here, and here. Okay, and then that way this part stays on because it's attached by ductwork in here, and I'll show you that on the other side. But this will come off so you can change your filter. Okay, now the other side, I've taken it right off of the ductwork. So this here is the ductwork that it's attached to. So when you undo this top bolt here and the one down here, okay, then you can just pop that whole thing off. Now the downside to that is trying to put this back on can be a real pain in the butt because it fits in a groove, and it is a royal pain. So I've gone and done that, so now I can show you a better view. So now when it's sitting on the bike like this, right, these are the 3 bolts I'm talking about. One here, which I've already taken out, and one here. Okay, so to get those, now this is assuming you're leaving this part on the bike. So once you pull those 3 out, so I'll do that real quick now, just so you can see what's on the inside of this thing. I've already loosened them just so I can make this video a little quicker. Okay, so you pull those out, and then, assuming this is still on the bike, okay, this cover will pop off and drop on the ground and dent, and I don't recommend doing that. So once you get that cover off, you've got your filter here. So this is just a sponge material. So what you want to do now is, there's 2 bolts here. I've taken one out. Here's the other one here. So I'll take it out real quick. Okay, and this will take off your filter mechanism, or whatever you want to call it. So now this whole thing now pops off, and then I'll see if I can put the camera down so I can do this with 2 hands. So now got that off, and this sponge comes off of the screen. So the screen you never replace. You can probably just wash it if you want, and then you replace this piece. So once you got that off, you put the new one back on like so. I'm not going to do a new one right now because I've ordered it, but I haven't got it in yet. Make sure it sits over the lip. This part here is what seals against here. And you just basically put that back on, put your bolts back in. Make sure you put your sponge on first because your bolts hold the sponge on too. So if you look here, the washer, bolt, oops, wrong side. The washer for the bolt goes over the sponge as well. So you put that back on, you put your bolts back in, put your cover back on, and then you do those back up from the inside. Now that's if you don't want to take the whole thing off. Or you can do what I did here, pop the whole thing off, do it this way. But like I say, the downside is when you put it back on, that ductwork has to fit inside here, inside this groove. And it's a real pain to get back on. So those are the 2 ways that you can do it. So hopefully that was helpful. So I'll do a quick recap. Okay, if you're leaving this on, you don't want to take the whole thing off. You just undo that bolt, undo the bolt down here, so you have wiggle room. You can get the 3 bolts in behind, pull this cover off, pull your filter off, put it all back together. Or you just undo those 2 bolts and pop the whole thing off, and then you got to fight with getting it back on the ductwork later. So it all depends on which route you want to go, which is easier for you. Leaving it on the bike's a little bit more time consuming, taking it off, but it saves a whole lot of time trying to put it back on, and a whole lot of frustrations, and keeps the money out of your swear jar. Alright, so good luck with that. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comment section. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.